One of the factors that many organizations struggle with and many managers struggle with is how do you measure team performance? And that is a really hard question in many contexts. Traditionally, at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, we could focus on productivity in factories. The number of widgets that every employee could provide per hour or could manufacture per hour would be a very clear indication of the productivity of that individual. And the problem is that once we shifted from manufacturing and creating widgets to knowledge work, where we're basically sitting behind a computer or behind a desk doing knowledge work, it became very difficult to measure performance. And what became the proxy metric for measuring performance was busyness, the perceived busyness. The more busy you are perceived by your manager, the more productive you are perceived to be. And of course, the problem is that it's very easy to look busy, but not really do anything in practice. And the challenge becomes that it is very easy for individuals and for teams to start to focus on repeatable work instead of focusing on solving wicked problems that are really hard to solve for the company, that take a lot of time to solve, that often require creative breakthroughs to solve, but which are very difficult to measure in terms of productivity measurements. So how do we measure then team performance? Should we just give up and say, you can't measure knowledge work? Or is there some other way in which we can measure the performance of teams? And this is once again where we refer to aligning on business goals. When the company has top level KPIs, that they are then linking to product level KPIs, that they are then linking to team level KPIs, you can actually achieve a situation where you quantitatively establish relationships between team level KPIs, product level KPIs, and company level KPIs. And if you do this well, then you can end up in a situation where every team at the end of every sprint or whatever frequency of check-in you have can measure what their contribution is to the bottom line. We see this in SaaS companies, especially in e-commerce and related companies. Their teams often know at the end of every sprint what their contribution to the bottom line is. This is not just an artificial, well done, guys. No, this is quantitatively a team knows how much money they made for the company. Of course, as I mentioned in the previous video, one way to do this is to organize teams around these KPIs. So one KPI, one team, and to give these teams guardrails on the other KPIs to make sure that they can optimize their own KPI, but they are not allowed to break or go beyond certain guardrails for other KPIs. In the end, however, in this model, every team has to generate enough value to justify their cost. So we have now a mechanism to measure team performance that is different from perceived busyness and is actually quantitatively related to the bottom line for the company and how much value every team generates in relation to their cost.